This is why fund managers and pensions ensure that your investments don't grow. Look at this. So they'll call it adventurous growth approach. It's not just Octopus. It's not even their fault. It's everybody. And they're obliged to call it that. And you're going to get disappointed for two reasons. First of all, either you're going to be put off, or if you're not and you go into it, you're going to be disappointed by the results. So let me explain the put off bit first, and then we'll go into why you're going to be disappointed. Words like adventurous growth make it sound highly risky, highly volatile. Now, if I said to you that your house price, if I delivered it every single day to you, but you're planning to live in it for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, it might cause you to panic early that I keep giving you the daily update on the price. And that's the point about the difference between volatility and risk. Volatility is what happens to prices, whether of your house or your portfolio. Risk is what might happen at the end of term when it comes time to cash in. They're two different things. Volatility should not put you off from risk. Of course, they're interrelated, but words like adventurous growth mean a lot of people who should be looking for growth, in the end, go for lower volatility, and therefore it's not that they risk not making a big loss. They actually risk not getting any growth at all. So let's say you did step into this and go for growth. Well, let's look at how this has performed. It's not been around much over the past year. Fantastic. You're up 5.1%. Okay? In one of the biggest bull markets in the world. And you might say, well, that's what that's what growth, adventurous growth is. Here's a problem. Wait a minute. What was 5.1% up, Alpesh? These are its top holdings. I went through the top holdings. Of those, the things which have gone up incredibly, when you look at where they've put up most of their money, overseas developed. Well, let's have a look at overseas. No point looking at UK shares. They hardly put any into that. Or bonds. Okay, they've put the bulk of their money in overseas developed. And we look in overseas developed and we see overseas developed didn't mean world equity. It must have meant American equity. And when we look at American equity and we put it in, that's gone up 5.1%. So the bulk of their money rightly went into US, but the funds that they then chose to put that in, and don't forget, you've got a fund fee at the Octopus level, then fees into the funds that they put their money into as well, have barely delivered. You might say, hang on, why have they barely delivered? Why have they delivered so poorly? Well, were you to look at what they've actually invested in there, so drill down another layer, you see they've barely put any money into the growth companies. It's not that they haven't selected, say, an NVIDIA or an Alphabet, which went up 60%, it's that they've put about 1 to 2% in there. You might say, well, that's right, because they don't want volatility. Here's the problem. They're not getting growth. And they said their job is adventurous growth. So why does this actually happen? Well, it happens because of the nature of the way funds are actually structured and the labels they apply to themselves. They like to call themselves adventurous growth in the way your aunt might go to a restaurant and say, those chili crisps or those jalapenos were a little bit spicy. They just can't take what we would call growth as growth. They think a mild tingle on the tongue is a spicy hot curry. It's very much an institutional approach. I don't want to say it's a particularly British way of approaching investments, the way they approach food. But they've got so used to being bland that they can't tell the difference between what is actual growth and what is just a label, which is not delivering any growth at all. The money trickles through multiple fund layers until it eventually gets to a growth company and then is sprayed so widely among so many companies that hardly any goes into a really growing company. Now, the other problem with all of this is you don't get what you wanted. If you actually did want growth and got the fund, you didn't get it. And if you actually thought it was too adventurous for you because it just sounded scary and thought, I'll go for a safer approach, you got even less growth. you really got screwed. And all the while, the fund managers kept making money. Now, why do I say it's not Octopus's fault? Well, Octopus money, this part was previously owned by Virgin, and then they outsource it. Like Virgin, it doesn't build trains, but it's got its logo on everything. So when they sold it to Octopus, great company, met the CEO of Octopus, overall energy, phenomenal. They outsource it. And when they outsource it and give it to managers and just shove it into several groups of low risk, high risk, medium, you actually believe what's written on the tin. What's written on the tin is not delivering for you. So who's actually making money? I mean, obviously, we know people are making money in the stock market. Well, obviously, it's the people with private banking relationships. Well, if you got 50 million, you too can get that bespoke one-to-one, so that when you say, I want adventurous growth, and they say to you, this is the volatility, but this is the risk across the time frame you're looking, are you happy with that? You can say, yeah, actually, that's really bespoke, like a tailored suit. That works, but who the hell's got 50 million? That's the problem with the industry. They are just shoving everybody like cattle to acquire as much money as possible so that they can charge you as little fees as possible, which I'm fine with. But by commoditizing that whole industry, you're screwed. It's your pension that's screwed. If you want to see how badly we've created a whole ton of free educational tools, calculators, so you can work things out for yourself, that's at campaignforamillion.com. If you want to educate yourself, so you learn a little bit more about investing and what's going wrong, so you can speak to your IFA and your fund manager and say to them, hey, wait a minute, this is rubbish, what you're giving me. This isn't working. Or you can just find it on the internet. Again, have a look at campaignforamillion.com. We've got a ton of stuff there. Just contact me, okay, through the same website. And that too, I'll assist you with. But at the moment, I'm afraid, well, yeah, I'm afraid. That's the bottom line.